These are the MX Carry On from Milwaukee. They're a heavy-duty inverter designed for the job site as the perfect companion to their line of MX light-duty power tools. A few months ago, when these highly anticipated power stations came out, it performed about as well as we all expected, with one small difference. There was a bug. Well, it's not a bug, it was a feature. Something that wasn't highly advertised by Milwaukee, but immediately noticed by its very first buyers. This feature was driving a lot of hardcore Milwaukee fans to their very edge. We tested the feature, and at one point, we even came up with our own $12 solution that didn't really get rid of the problem. But fortunately for us, Milwaukee listened. And today, we have the all-new Milwaukee MX Carry On. And I have no idea which one's which. Today I'm going to talk about three quick things. Number one, I'm going to briefly remind you what this tool is all about. Number two, I'm going to explain the problem feature. And three, I'm going to tell the early adopters how they can get their old carry-on or their old carry-on upgraded for zero cost, and only lose it for a short bit. Let's quickly cover the basics. This is a 3600 watt peak 1800 watt inverter powered by the Milwaukee MX batteries. It's designed to run a single 15 amp tool on the job site with no noise, gas, fumes, fire hazard, etc. It's also a charger. It's one key compatible and comes with two of the biggest MX batteries, the XC406. It's not light, it's just under 50 pounds, but it's seriously durable. This is for the back of your work truck, not the camper, although who am I kidding here? You guys are all going to take this camping. I know I am. Now the pitch isn't just a lack of gas, it's also cost savings. They claim that with average use, it will cost $4 a month to charge versus $46 in gas and maintenance for the same power on a small generator. We ran it up against the DeWalt power station in the Ego Nexus a few months ago, which you can watch right up here. Now, it did well. The one thing that made it stand out was its pricing. It was more expensive for the inverter, and the batteries were more expensive per watt hours as well. The difference being the heavy-duty construction and the fact that you can use the same battery in a jackhammer or a core drill. But then there was the feature. As soon as users got their hands on it, they started using it for all kinds of things, not just 15 amp saws. They also hooked it up to strings of job site lights, they used it to charge their laptops and phones, and one reviewer on their own website used it to power a sump pump while the power was out during some work on a multi-million-dollar home. No problem, right? Well, the feature works like this. If you're pulling less than 80 watts, like you might with a sump pump, after 60 minutes, it shuts off. That particular user turned around to find water coming up and had to quickly turn the power back on to avoid disaster. Now, Milwaukee said that this feature was there to save power, but we came up with 4 or 5 situations ourselves where you'd be pulling 80 watts or less and not want this thing to shut off. We even went so far as to suggest people buy a $12 outlet timer that would automatically shut off and then back on every 59 minutes, tricking the carry-on into resetting its shut-off timer. And it worked. But still, that's a pretty red-green solution to a very real problem. Fortunately, Milwaukee eventually reached out and told us that they were stopping shipments to vendors and planned to remove the feature, which they did. As of today, shipments have resumed to vendors, and any new MX Carry On you purchase will no longer shut off until you shut it off yourself. So yeah, you're going to need to remember to do that, or you'll come back to dead batteries, at which point I can only assume a Milwaukee engineer will likely pop out of the bushes and yell, "See, I told ya!" But what if you already have a carry-on like we do and you want to get it fixed? Well, Milwaukee tried to make it as simple as possible. Unfortunately, it could not be updated by one key, which they kind of made it sound like they tried that, but it just couldn't be done. Instead, you need to bring your carry-on to either an authorized service center or factory service center, and they'll take care of sending it in for free. Milwaukee says you can expect to get your inverter back, better than ever, in 7 to 10 days. So there you have it. One of these has a feature that drives me nuts, and the other one doesn't. And again, I really didn't think this through. I have no idea which one is which. Guess I'll know in an hour. Now, since we first published our inverter review, we've been flooded by requests to review other inverters from countless mystery brands in China. So far, we've passed. However, one brand that tradespeople are going to know, they're working on something very similar, and they've asked us if we take a look, and we said yes. So, if you're interested in these kind of things, do us a favor, subscribe, that way you won't miss it when it's ready. Also, don't forget to join Sarah and I this and every Friday for the Power Tool Week in Review. I'll see you then.